So this is a strange one. I've actually written out most of what I'm gonna say minutes after this news went public, but I'm not actually recording this until several days after. I found out the news while out with family. We were getting ready to watch some fireworks, and then I learned the tragic news from Discord messages. I debated about whether I wanted to include Skywars footage in the background or not, and while initially I tried to get some, it was way harder to focus on the game thinking about the video topic, so I decided to scrap it for this video. Hopefully that's for the best. Now, by this point, I really do hope everyone knows the news. I specifically waited several days to give people time to process and mourn and grieve, and I kinda blew it a little bit by making that community post on it right after I found out. But I just wanted to say something. I apologize if you found out that way. The last thing I wanted to do was J-station a topic like this. I did not want to shrill out several minute-long videos repeating some vapid statements like, "This is insane, guys," and some out there have already gone through with it, whether they're spamming them out the wazoo or lazily saying, "These guys milking it bad," while hypocritically milking it at the same time. I'm not going to be talking about that specifically anymore, but if for some reason you want to hear more, I'll link the only good video you should watch on that topic in the description. I know Techno was one of the more self-aware ones out there and made a lot of jokes about what was going to happen after, so whether these types of videos and comments are on brand for him or not is kind of a mixed bag, but the chances are his family doesn't share the same sense of humor, so try to keep that in mind. While most of what I'm writing here is minutes after I learned the news, by the time this goes up, everyone will probably have already said the same things in other videos that I will say here. I'm already aware that some of you who come across this may say things like, "This creator said it better," or "That creator already said something like that," or something along those lines. I'm going to be clear right up front. In the grand scheme of things, my words mean nothing on this platform. I am a dit with a few thousand subscribers. Hundreds of far bigger creators have already written statements about this, and their words will probably mean much more to you than mine will. This is not a Hypixel topic. This is a global topic. Not just everyone in the community, but even corporations are making statements and articles. At this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if the Queen of England paid tribute to Technoblade next. And speaking of that, I intended to make this without naming anyone else unless it was a positive comparison, but I'm sorry. I have to spend a minute on the Elon Musk tweet. This is a recent addition to the video, and I'm still not quite sure what to make of this. Seems more so mawkish than anything, especially because the richest man in the world posted it. I heavily doubt Techno had "Elon Musk will pay tribute to me" using a quote from Wreck-It Ralph Sonic on his death bingo card, and to be fair, he'd probably be ecstatic. But this might actually be the worst response I've seen yet to his death. A Technoblade at 3 AM video would be more sincere and heartfelt than whatever this tweet was. Enough talk about that, though. This video is being made for me. I am making this for myself as a tribute to a man I looked up to great extremes. This is not a video for you guys, as weird as that may sound. I will likely not be bothered to read your replies to this, your comments. I'm considering just straight up disabling comments. Okay, I looked back on this and I thought my wording came out a little bit too harsh. Obviously, comments paying respect to the topic at hand are deeply appreciated. This was more so targeted towards those who are going to try to make this about others. This is a video on how Technoblade inspired and influenced the content I make today. If you don't want to hear about that, I don't know why you clicked this. Don't bring any of that "this other creator" nonsense here. This isn't about anyone else. This is about my experience and how Techno's content shaped me into how I run my channel today, as well as how I approach Hypixel in general. I was a wee lad back in 2013 when I first started playing on the server. A lot of people might not know this, but I actually got my start in Blitz survival games, which, believe it or not, used to be a packed game mode with a lot of players. You won't find it on my current account, as this is the second account that I've mained on the server, but if you search Sykese on Plank, you'll find all my old Blitz stats. Compared to today, they may not be the best, but this was all 2013-2014. I played this game mode so much, and guess who started out their channel making Blitz survival games videos? Why, Technoblade, of course. Already from the get-go, I was watching his Blitz videos trying to learn how to be as good a player as him. Him being among the early level 10 players, his Horse 10 gameplay especially was something really unique. Obviously, I was never able to get myself to that level in Blitz survival games, even though I had tried so desperately hard to practice and be like Techno was. While hard to find nowadays, I have a few relics of times long gone when I was making Blitz videos trying to be like him. I know I have one saved on my channel here, but I've been unable to find others. At the same time he was making the Blitz videos, he was also making videos of another game mode. I was never the biggest fan of Mega Walls, not when it came out and not now. Despite my lack of enjoyment for the game itself, Techno's videos of the game gave me a way to be able to enjoy it plenty. His Spider Quest series was especially a standout to me. There's not really much more I can think to say here because, again, Mega Walls was never really my forte. I also thought this would be the best place to throw a little quick shout out to the Town of Salem series. Some of his more underrated videos fall under there, and a lot of them were privatized until they became unprivate. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Town of Salem was a game I would play a lot with the old Hypixel show crew when we were just hanging around, and it was his videos that helped us to discover it in the first place. After that, 2015 rolled around and we got into my favorite era of Technoblade ever, the Skywars era. My channel would absolutely not be the same if this era never happened. I might not even be making content at this point in time if this era never happened. I remember countless and countless days where I would just spend the evening watching his Skywars videos and streams, and just be baffled by how someone could be just so effortlessly funny with nearly every sentence combined with this live gameplay. It was the type of content I wish I could make, and it's influenced a lot of it ever since. You guys ever wonder why most of my background footage today is Skywars? Well, Techno's Skywars content is a big reason why. Just like with Blitz, I would watch his Skywars content and try to practice and get better because I wanted to be able to make content like that. Being able to be that effortlessly good while at the same time also providing good commentary throughout remains a big goal of mine. I have to write everything out and then put it over the footage. I really struggle with doing it live. To this day, his Skywars videos are still a source for me when I want to try to get better at certain aspects of PvPing, and I actually made a little meme video about half a year ago as sort of an homage to my enjoyment of that era, and I have to say I'm so relieved that I made something to honor it while he was still here. Kind of similarly to Mega Walls, Bed Wars also was just never my thing and still isn't, but I'm not gonna lie, that 1000 win streak series had me hooked. It was just that sheer ambition, and when it happened at the time, I could not believe that someone was able to win 1000 games of that nightmare in a row. I'm lucky today if I can win 2 in a row. It was just another day for Technoblade though. In short, his Bed Wars content was also something I could come home and watch through. After that, I didn't really check up on Technoblade again for another year or two, until Minecraft Monday happened. I think most people now prefer his time in Minecraft Championship because of the ownership and the better treatment of players and all that, but I think Minecraft Monday was actually a far better story. He was this rut Hypixel YouTuber, well, I say rut with heavy air quotes. Well, compared to everyone he was against at the time, he was a less known guy who was barely getting 2,000 views per stream and had just barely made it in this event. He was then able to prove himself and take advantage of the opportunity that lay in front of him, in front of all these esports players and in front of all those he idoled growing up, while at the same time still maintaining his effortlessly funny commentary. I think the moment that stands out the most is this one during week 3. Both of these guys were the last two standing in what was considered the first true Minecraft Hunger Games event. Younger folks won't know what this is, but this was the ultimate Hunger Games video for a long time. It was an epic showdown and cemented both Captain Spelkles and Ant Venom as among the 2 best PvPers out there. And then in this moment, Techno solo decimates the both of them on a team together, and it wasn't even close. It's a moment I rewatched and rewatch a lot, even though he didn't win that week. Apart from that, it was his performance in TNT Run during these tournaments that I first learned of the 1-block jump strat that I now use in all of my TNT Run games. I still haven't perfected it quite yet, but with every game I play, I continue to tread that path. Minecraft Monday was probably the last time I was really engaged regarding Technoblade. I watched his first Minecraft Championship, but MCC just wasn't my thing. Same deal with MC Ultimate. It was an impressive game, sure, but the organization just wasn't my style. Despite my mixed reception towards the SMP ordeal, and despite my less than ideal reception towards his Skyblock content, especially the whole Dante thing, I could still appreciate his willingness to change his content up and not keep doing the same thing over and over again, even if it was content that wasn't necessarily for me. It's where most of his audience came from, and they've clearly spoken regarding that type of content. I remember seeing the initial cancer announcement video soon after it went up. I remember not really feeling any emotion. I just kind of watched it, felt bad, wished for the best, and moved on. And I absolutely regret not really feeling more regarding it. It made me feel like maybe it was finally that moment, that Techno just wasn't my cup of tea anymore. Despite that, I would always still continue to occasionally check up on the channel and see what was going on. And I think it was the amputee video where it finally hit me that there was a legit chance that he might not survive. I was semi-anticipating it and almost thought it wasn't gonna happen, and then that's when it happened. I think that's the thing that's gotten to me the most. He was only 23, and I'm 24. The fact that he was perfectly healthy last August and it took less than a year to overtake him is a really freaky thought. That whole thing gave me at least 3 full sleepless nights because I couldn't stop thinking about it. I've had family experience, so I'm not completely innocent of it, but man, I hate thinking about that so much. A lot of people will and have said that Techno was one of the best to ever do it on Hypixel and in Minecraft in general, and that's a big lie. Techno was not one of the best to ever do it. He was the best to ever do it. Techno's content and personality influenced everyone today that is making Hypixel content, including my own. And if you say it hasn't, you're lying and don't know you are. If you started making Hypixel content after him, the chances are in some way or another, his content has influenced you. At this point, every word in the dictionary has been used in tribute statements, so it's really difficult to say something original, but does that really matter? He was effortlessly funny, insanely talented, he promoted kindness and wit over toxicity and pushback, he was a comfort creator to many millions, and he has an epically humongous stack of accomplishments both in Hypixel and out that won't be topped. No one else from Hypixel will ever come close to it. If I had to compare him to one other creator, it would probably have to be Critical. I've always noticed a lot of similarities between the two, whether it be the same deadpan style of humor or the mountain of feats achieved by both. Technoblade was definitely the most comparable to Critical for me, but they were still very different. Techno still absolutely had his own twist and sense of humor that brought him to where he ended up. Sure, Techno's videos didn't have the highest amount of production, but he didn't need that. I actually think more editing would have ruined a lot of those videos. I think Hypixel themselves have done a fantastic job of paying tribute. They started off with deleting threads made by people regarding it, but I think they just kinda gave up shortly after. They have a lot going on. You can read the thread linked in the description to find out more. I will say though that there needs to be something permanent in the server. I will be kind of upset if everything is only temporary. I know we have to move on eventually, but I think Techno contributed far too much to only get temporary tributes on the server. I saw a tweet from someone suggesting a new Bed Wars map to be themed around Technoblade, and if they were to make the map right, I wouldn't see any reason why that couldn't happen. Either that or a skywars map, or just a statue somewhere in Skyblock. Either would be very fitting. I love the idea of the book, though the thing that baffles me is the 1-page limit. I get the gist why printing and all that, especially after Noxie's tweet, but if you want everyone to keep the messages to 1 page only, why are you able to write more than 1 page? Shouldn't you just make it so you can only write 1 page? I don't know, maybe it was an oversight, but it's a bit baffling, because you know a lot of people aren't gonna see that, and they're gonna write multi-page tributes not knowing most of it won't even be seen. To end on a positive note, I'm sad right now. Okay, maybe not the best sentence to start with after saying that, but let me explain. While I'm sad now, I think about what actually did happen in his lifetime. He got to see his lifetime goal be accomplished when the channel hit 10 million subscribers, he got to see his account have pig rank on the server, and he got to see that potato war to the end and emerge victorious. So I'm gonna try to think more about that and how enjoyable his content was for the next few days. Like I said earlier, all of his old videos actually became unprivated for those that don't know. It happened a few weeks ago, and I have to assume around then is when he left us. You guys have so many hours of old Techno content that was unavailable for many years available again, so do yourself a favor and check them out. I guarantee there are some you haven't seen yet. I'll leave a link to the charities being donated to in response as well. I know a lot of people in the Hypixel community are pretty young and probably can't donate themselves. Don't force yourself to, but if you're able and willing to, you totally should. More videos will come out soon. They'll be back to normal type videos I would make, but I wanted to make this for myself. F cancer.